Welcome to ITCOM, where real men talk. Today I'll be discussing the topical issue of mental health. And joining me will be OAP, hype man, and entertainer extraordinaire, Do2dtun, and a very special guest. Let's get into it. The WHO defines mental health as a state of well-being that allows people to cope with life stresses, learn well and work well, contribute to the economy, and basically be an all-round positive member of society. That's theory. I want to know from both of you what mental health means, what your view on it is, and how you see it, and how it applies to you. So, Dotson.
Well, for me, I want to come from. I'm going to speak from a man's perspective. It's almost known that men are seen as people who internalize a lot of things. Just because we grew up in a typical African environment, and I'm using my environment as an example, where they feel like, I'm a typical Yoruba boy. You hear things like okoro kinsuku. What that pretty means is men don't cry. Oh, men don't. You have to toughen up. Okurinie.
Just it.
Exactly. But you see, Okurinie. Baba, even Superman, as everybody say, oh, there's a Clark, there's a Superman, right? Clark is the guy who goes back to the office and he still does things differently. What that means is there's so many things that we're as human beings that we are very exposed to. But generally, I think for me, it starts with family. It starts with the background where you grew up with, the kind of tribe you're in, the kind of understanding of how they feel you should live your life and see. But especially for men, we internalize a lot of things. But the truth is, I feel like there's an idea of how they expect a young boy who grows into a teenager and grows into a man. There's a level. It's almost like it's tailored to you're tailored to live in a certain way. So as a man, you are definitely seen as someone that you should not be expressive of anything. Just chest time. You be guy, you be man. And now the sad thing of this, we're talking about mental health, is there are many reasons why this is. People have a lot of mental issues, from the background, the kind of peer pressure, social media, life, the family. But for me, I'll tell you, for me, number one, everybody's talking about social media now, but it actually starts with where you're coming from. There's some households, for example, now you say that you can't really say and come out and say, oh, you know what, I'm in a household and I don't I feel like the way we take religion and you have a different mindset. You have a different idea of how you see it. But you can't say that in some type of homes when you come out and you openly say, "Oh, I want to be this person." And those are those little things taking away your freedom from you, stifling your reasoning, stifling of how you express yourself, and then gradually it builds up into something else. But me, first, it starts with family or religion or background. Like I already said, I'm a Yoruba boy. They'll tell you, "Okun Okinsuku." So when you cry, you're laughed at.
So you cry?
Yes, I do. Like, I'm a tough guy, what I mean? Recently, I come out across as the energy god. But even Superman, they tire. What that means is there are times that I break down. As a matter of fact, recently, what happened with my story and all that, I broke down. Yeah, you can imagine how long it took me to get to that point. I was at my last, that's my breaking point. So I cry. There's even something I keep telling. I say, who told you grown men don't cry? Because to be honest, sometimes I'm not saying crying helps, but to me, I come out as a tough guy. That's what I want you guys to see. It's a perception. But truly, sometimes it's me building walls, or maybe somehow I don't want people to see through me. But the truth is, I cry.
I'm going to pause you on that because I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah.
But Mike's looked a bit, I won't say skeptical, but he's looked a bit thoughtful. So they have a different opinion, or do you want to qualify his or modify it?
A lot of things he said things I might agree with, but I can also disagree with a lot of it also.
Okay.
I think we are built in an environment where that word men or man, certain things are not allowed to come out. So if you're sad, if you're depressed, if you have mental issues, then maybe you're not built strong enough as a man. Maybe your hormones are giving in, or you have less of a male hormone in you that does not make you fully a man. So should a man cry? No, he shouldn't,
Why not?
because that's what you're built for. I think you should be tough. I think you should go hard. I think you
Or
should,
go home.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not,
but see now those.
I am not going to train my kids and tell them at some point, if you have issues, that it should be defined as mental health. Yeah, when society
So,
where we started encouraging it, and then all of a sudden you see everybody now going up and down, your full grown ass man be telling you he has mental issues. If you have mental issues, commit suicide, for crying out loud.
jeez.
Okay, so
And
hold
leave
on.
this
Let me
life.
just back up on this one.
Okay.
One little thing. I want to take your.
This is the first time I'm probably.
No,
That's
no. I, I hear what you're saying, but I want to come back to you on what I say as a flaw in your argument. You said
Okay.
basically you are built a particular way, right?
Right.
But here's the thing: if you use the idea of building, you're a machine or you're designed a particular way, surely, unless you are saying the designer is flawed, you should be able to adapt and modify to every challenge you face and deal with it in the right manner. And emotional development is what makes you better and stronger. So if you're telling that you're only built such a way that you can only handle challenges by running away from them or by tackling them head on, isn't that a very, very warped idea and a dangerous idea of masculinity and manhood? Because I don't think it is possible to ignore the fact that studies show that depression is a ticking time bomb in this generation for men. People are committing suicide. Yes, if I commit suicide, who does that help? You will leave people behind that care about you to wonder why they could have helped or to deal with the loss.
Hey, I think
So
I
how is that a
think
solution?
I think we should
Pretty
just
Mike is not pretty on this one. See, listen, I don't agree with what he said, but there's one thing I want to touch on. I think the only thing is I understand how people use mental health in their conversations. I feel like the only way you can ascertain things like that is, maybe you have to see a doctor or you have to do a test. I mean, we're not really open to these things, and that's why the conversation now has gotten a lot stronger now, because I feel like a lot of people throw these words around. And I get that. But the thing is, I don't subscribe to someone saying that if because you're a grown-ass man, then, if you cannot handle certain things, then you commit suicide. That's not a pretty thing to say. Now, and my understanding of how we feel or how we see things generally is that we are in a country where we expect you to adapt to anything that comes to. Now, don't forget the fact that we're not born equally. The things you can take, I might not be able to take it. The things you can see, I might not be able to see it. As a matter of fact, people certify people as, oh, he's going through mental
Issues.
illness without you ascertaining. It might just be somebody who is going through certain things at that certain time. But the truth is, at the end of the day, you can't really attach, growth to or someone's toughness to how, because of how the society is built or how somebody is supposed to move in life, and you expect them to be as tough as it is. Like I already said it, I made a reference to Superman, that regardless of it, he has feelings too. Clark fell in love with what's his name?
Lois.
Lois. And the thing is, what that shows is that even Superman has his own weakness, but it comes as tough. So I don't subscribe to what Pretty Mike just said now, because the truth is, listen, for everyone going through certain things, they have their own different dimensions of how we see folk. But mental health is I think it needs more awareness. And the only thing I have a problem is, how do you ascertain and certify someone as mentally ill? Because sometimes people act erratic. I mean, for example, now people might think Pretty Mike is crazy or he has mental illness because he goes to parties and
Yeah, I
brings.
can see why.
Yeah, you can almost say that, but that just might be its own type of theatrics, right?
right.
So if I base it on what you're saying, that means you are handling your own mental health, however you choose to. But people actually think that that guy, he probably has some mental illness. The only problem I have is how do you ascertain someone with mental
So what's the
illness?
baseline?
Yes.
Exactly. So how do you ascertain that?
And that's I like from this angle he's coming from, because you know what? Even in the Western world, when someone commits a certain crime and claims mental illness, they go through a huge number of tests, right? To be able to determine if he's mentally fit either to stand trial or at the point when he committed that crime,
Yes.
if he was actually. So let me tell you something. A lot of people have used that word and misused that word, mental illness. You can have a heartbreak and claim mental illness. You can be depressed off of maybe losing a job and claim mental illness. The question is that right? No, it's not. So we have misunderstood that
But
word.
depression is that's if you're depressed, that clearly you can't.
Like I said,
Those are prerequisites for
yes,
mental illness.
does not mean that it has graduated to that. I want us to, there's a blurry line, right? That word mental illness is deep. It's a strong word. It's not a word which is just, and I'm telling you, a lot of young men are using it as excuses.
Yes.
You lose a job, mental illness. Maybe it's a loved one died, mental illness. Come on. No. Or you get heartbreak or lose a relationship, mental illness. No.
But it's possible though.
But
It
that's
can't
possible.
trigger.
Those are
It's
triggers,
possible.
actually.
Look, so
Those, for me,
lose a loved one, for example, right?
Yes.
That's a devastating blow
trigger
to you, and it affects the way people function.
Yes.
Unless, in fact, I think the person who doesn't react emotionally to losing a loved one is mentally ill, because it is a massive blow to you.
Even heartbreaks.
Even heartbreaks.
That
because
sometimes you
it's
invest
about,
your
it's about
time.
loss from an emotional perspective, and it because you look at what that
when
relationship.
society that says,
Let me ask you a question.
if you lose a loved one,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with going to the room. You can be sad, you can cry about it, but you know what? At some point, you should pick yourself up. Now,
No
if you
argument.
can't do that,
No,
and if
but-
you bring it out to the public, and it becomes mental illness, let me tell you something. You're a weak man.
No, hold on a
No,
second.
In fact,
Hold
you
on,
are not
wait, Mike,
qualified to be a
I will
man.
now pull host
No,
people.
I don't know if you fall under that category, but if you do fall under that category, then you need to be
But
checked.
pretty Mike, this sounds like you
Okay.
sound exactly like what a layman says. Those are general things that it's the same thing when I started this conversation when you feel like a man should not fail. That is the general, notion. And I think that's what has most times changed our perspective, where everybody thinks you're supposed to be tough. That trigger, if you lose a loved one, that's a trigger. Even heartbreak that you spend many years in a relation where you chop breakfast. And then you realize at the end of the day, that can really affect you. I understand you might say the general term of saying, oh, because you're weak. But listen, everybody's allowed to be weak. You can be weak.
So my take on it is this. I think the biggest problem, or the biggest issue I have with what you're saying is, you seem to look at incidents as trivial because they're individual. I'll use boxing's analogy. Parkinson's disease, right, doesn't come from one punch. It is an accumulation of punches over time.
Right.
So when someone is mentally breaking down, it's not one thing. They've been doing a series of things, and because the impact might not be apparent at first. It builds up, and then one incident incites the breakdown. Now, are you going to tell me that a boxer who has Parkinson's, right, is not a good enough boxer, wasn't strong enough to take the blows that? Come on, no, Mike, wait now,
I agree with you,
Mike,
right? I agree with you.
Landed now,
Okay.
Kalan, because arguably the toughest boxer ever in the history of man was Muhammad Ali.
Right.
But it was his will, it was his taking all those punches, right, that broke him down over time and reduced him to what he is. Now, imagine a human being that
to what?
he had Parkinson's.
He had Parkinson's
couldn't communicate. He couldn't communicate. He was limited. He couldn't communicate effectively.
Right.
Now, emotionally, right, you had this challenge, you had that challenge, you had these issues, and they've been coming, and then suddenly your father dies, or you lose, and then you collapse under the weight of all that, and you say, well, oh sure, his father died. People's fathers have died before. You haven't seen what else has come underneath.
Right.
How he's been dealing with, and maybe each time he deals with it, he doesn't actually deal. He also puts it away to one corner. But eventually, it's like, I'm still here, bros. Come and look at me. But because you don't know that, you call the person a weak person.
So we don't
How is that fair?
so we don't
Okay, fair.
digress, right? What is this topic for today?
Mental health. How men deal with their issues and how they cope with it, and their challenges in doing that, and also the expectations and assumptions about men and mental health. And are those good or bad things?
Good. So let me now use what you said as an
Okay.
example to answer you. You said a boxer, Parkinson's disease. Has it reduced him from being a boxer? Yes. Once he had Parkinson's disease, he's no longer considered a boxer. So I'll tell you something. As a man, once you've agreed that you have mental issues, then you're no longer a man.
Wow.
We're in a society. We're in a
Wow,
society.
wow, wow,
We're in
wow.
a society.
Need water for this.
We're in a society.
I want to carry this thing.
Yes, we're in a society. We're in a society where things have changed. Where you go to certain places like in Canada or America, you can look at, are you male, female, or it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So once you have mental issues, you're now an it. You're no longer a man. You cannot be considered a male in the society. And I think, in my opinion, is either you're being removed or you check into a mental institute to handle whatever issues you have.
Pandora's box.
You need to toughen up. You need to let that shit go, and you stop making that stuff an excuse
This thing should be
of
on
your
stage.
personality.
So, the thing is,
Let me tell you, a lot of mental ill men are also transferring it to their kids, where they become weak. That's where you see a young man grow up at a certain age and is up in his job on the road complaining, oh, I have mental issues. It's because he picked it up from a father. The man was weak, and that man shouldn't have had kids in the first place.
You see, the funny thing is, you know what? I've never been on a show where I just let somebody just speak.
Yeah.
And I'm almost to the point I need to punch this guy. The truth is,
Hey.
listen, you don't pass mental illness to anyone. Every child or every father or I have their own journey in life. Because your dad had it, maybe there might be, what you're saying is, maybe there might be a kind of ailment where, and that's madness. Maybe people, I'm not sure if that can, I know of that somehow, but that's another conversation for another day. Pretty Mike, listen. Everybody have their own journey and life and how they see things. Whatever you want to understand about mental health does not have anything to do with masculinity. I don't agree with you. Like I said, even the toughest guy, listen, the toughest guys, they break regardless. And now the thing is, it gets to a point where you realize that you might not even know that you have that. The only problem I have, like I already said, is
how do you determine
someone that have mental illness?
How do you predetermine so you can address
Which is the problem, because I might agree with you is in the idea of people throw out the words every single time, but it has nothing to do with, if you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be a man, then you're supposed to accept certain things. Even you cry, or you never cried before, or even you go through certain things, don't you?
No,
you don't cry.
Don't go through nothing.
Pretty much,
I don't go through nothing.
No.
I did times.
Hold on. No, wait. You don't. Guys, I'm looking at you. I don't quite believe that.
Okay, so
I
don't want you to take this as an offense.
No.
No.
I want to say something.
I want to say something.
Can I say something? I think I'm mentally stable enough, right, to take whatever questions, answers, or express myself positively well. I'll tell you something. There's an issue and an error in this show that we need to check.
Which is?
Which is Do2 has mental issues.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why I said that.
Wow.
In this
But we haven't said he does.
Hold on. He's ongoing and he's carrying it around.
Okay.
I think Do2 needs to check into a mental facility
Wow.
and get himself checked properly.
Wow.
If this was in the same country,
So let me ask
hold
you.
on. Can I finish?
Go ahead.
If this was,
But how do you?
No. You can see he likes to interrupt. If this was in the same country, this young man will check into an institution. And you know what? I will not be sitting down next to him having this conversation. And let me point out one flaw. In this conversation, this young man, because he's not mentally stable enough, cannot handle the conversation. And you know why? What he said? He says, I feel like punching. You know why he said that? Because he's mentally not okay. But I will tell you something. I am mentally stable enough to listen to him, laugh at him. And you know what? When he punches, I will count to punch.
Oh, nice.
as
So now,
And then-
so,
and then you
so,
force- and then
so
I'll be the
guess what?
referee.
as
Now, in the
as a
same
reaction.
team, we have
Ali and Fraser.
no, exactly. So it's more like you can fly like a butterfly,
And,
but you can listen, pretty Mike. You sting less, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
This is a serious conversation.
Right.
You know, my point is, and what I said, I didn't mean that.
Oh, of course, I understand.
So
Sure.
maybe
sure.
you can't really handle your emotions. That's why you took that in. The truth is, I'm only telling you. First of all, mental health conversation is deeper than all of these things we're saying. It's bigger than us.
Sure.
And that's why the awareness have increased over time, because you just asserting me as someone with mental illness. How do you know that? How do you know that? And the thing is, based on what you said or before now, it's a simple conversation when you said, oh, somebody can go through a heartbreak just because I said, oh, I might feel like punching this guy. So that means I have mental illness. So you see now you just contradicted yourself. Because now the truth in this is a simple thing. Everybody goes through things. Does not. You just said it now. It might be heartbreak. It might be anything, and definitely you cannot really ascertain if. But now you just play the job of a doctor now. How do you know someone with mental illness? To be honest, I think on this show we need to sit down and have a conversation with you. Since you're the doctor on the show, how do you know that Ikhane or listen or Do2dtun have mental illness? How do you ascertain that someone needs to be checked into a mental facility? I want to understand that. So you know what? For the benefit of everybody who's watching,
Yes.
how do you, since you just, explained what you think or where I should be,
Right.
based on a conversation,
Right. And you will look good in some white.
So you tell me, how do you know that someone needs to check into a mental home?
So let me tell you something. If we keep making this,
I asked you a simple question.
yes, and I'm going to answer you.
Thank you very much.
And if we keep making this word mental illness an issue, right? Automatically, you are breeding a society where a lot of young men, right? Let's even take it further to the female. Let's even take it further to the female gender.
I have to interrupt you. Sorry, I apologize. We can address that later. He asked you a question.
I'm answering it.
No, you're
digressing.
You are digressing. Answer it first and then explain. How do you know if someone
Ladies and gentlemen,
has mental health issues?
Dr.
Pretty Mike.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Let me
So now, well,
how do you know? No, how do you know?
You're
That's
a
all.
doctor. How do you know?
You're a man, so which means you can be direct.
Yeah. So
How do you know if when someone has mental health issues?
It's obvious that both of you have mental issues.
How is it obvious, doctor?
Yes, because you have adapted it, you have taken it, you have made it your own. You both.
You still haven't answered the question.
No. Jesus. Now hold on. For the fact that you're addressing me and telling me to be a man clearly tells that you cannot see a man. You have mental issues.
Wow. I actually said be a man.
No.
Hold on.
No. That word can come off as offensive for less of a man like you.
But I'm not the one that's reacting to it.
No. You are, because you took it. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Learn to stop interrupting me. It's your show. You can ask me questions. I'll answer.
Okay.
Do2, the same thing. It's fine.
But
I'll tell you something. I don't know why people take that word mental issues so seriously. For me, I have chosen in my lifetime, and I like to express the same thing to other young men. You know what? Don't make it a big of a deal. 1, don't make it an excuse in your life. 2, don't make it something that is overwhelming. Does he exist? Yes. But you know what? It shouldn't be a significant part of your life. A lot of young men now have decided, maybe after they watch someone like you or Do2 on this show, we want to come out of their cocoon and use the word mental issues for some of their shortcomings or their failures in life. It doesn't exist. You wipe it out. Mental issue is for ladies. Jeez. Push it to the side.
Okay, so
as a young man, if you think you have any mental issue, check into a facility, or you know what? Give up the ghost. Let's know that you're out of the way. We don't want to have a whole bunch of men walking around the society claiming mental issues. That's why in recent times, technology or the environment has created male, female it. That it is for those with the mental issues.
Okay, so pretty much, you still didn't answer the question.
I mean, I've answered the best way I can.
So the question still states, like you just said to everyone, that Ikhane and I have mental illness, right? So we don't even know we do. You know. So tell us, how do you see someone? We're not it. I
Okay.
know as far as I know, my name is I'm a man. Here's a guy. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
how do you know? We're men. Let's put it that way. How do you know that we both have mental illness?
And what is the nature of a mental issue?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Probably one of the first good questions you've asked.
So please give us a good answer.
Yeah, mental issues have different variances, and I believe, in my understanding, that a lot of people have converted bare minimal things to what is called mental depression or mental issues.
Fair enough, but what's my mental issue?
So what's mine?
What's ours?
Let's start because we need to
We're
know.
coming back to us.
Yes.
We need to
What's
know.
because you didn't say everybody. You said
You know?
Ikhane and Do2dtun.
Right.
What's my mental health issue?
One of your mental
okay.
one of your mental issues is the fact that you haven't accepted that it's a big problem in our society.
So the statistics and the data are
You know,
irrelevant.
the thing is, I think you're
Because
very
people are
The
dying.
statistics and data
Yes.
were written and formed by people like you, people that have made it.
Scientists,
Right.
neurologists,
No.
medical people.
Because they're scientists does not mean they don't have flaws.
But you, without their professional training and experience, have an opinion that should override theirs, which has taken time and data to accumulate.
I'm going with the fact.
It's
I'm
interesting.
going by how we're trained. Hold on. I'm going by how
you
we're
are
trained. I'm
It's
going by
possible
how. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going by how we're trained, and
Okay.
I'm going by the general society in general. If all the men in this country were to come out and agree or accept the fact they don't have mental issues, you know what? They've all become the opposite sex.
Okay.
So for you, mental illness is based on gender.
No, he's basically saying if a man cannot
So
deal
you're basically saying men should not have mental illness, right?
Men should not accept
Should not accept
that they have
that it
So
exists.
but it's for women and it.
Yes. So
That's how you fall into the category of it, because you cannot ascertain your
okay.
So
gender.
can I ask you, is this something you've researched? You came out with this type of conclusion,
Right.
and this is your belief.
Right. I mean, you said something in your native language. Please, can you repeat that?
Which
Okay, go
No, I mean, meaning
men don't cry.
good. And you know what? That came from generations to generations to generation. I don't think me and you can even ascertain who came up with that slogan.
Yeah, but it passed that down to you, and does that make? I mean, it's a thing. That's why I said it's a general thing we believe over time. But does that make it right?
Well,
Does that make that right? Does it make it?
If you can sit down there
So
and tell me
if
that
a
a scientist
cannot
that you have never met,
express themselves however way they choose,
right?
Or a man cannot be seen, or a man is clearly seen as a robot every single time,
Right.
right? How would they even function in the society?
Well, that's
How
why
would
you,
they even
that's why you have a whole bunch of
train
systems
kids?
working around the whole place.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, cool. So guys,
Oh, jeez.
guys, so let's
You know, I've never been so dumbfounded. You know, I know you so well. Like,
Right.
you're very,
Right.
very great guy. Like, I believe so.
Oh man,
But I don't. Your perception, your notion, on how you see things is a bit warped. And sorry, I'm not a judge. Listen, I'm not a judge
taking
of
it personal.
and that's cool.
Yes.
I'm not even with what you said.
Yeah.
I'm only in a space where I'm not even just speaking for myself, right? I mean, I understand that this is a serious issue. I mean, I don't know if you've seen.
So you're speaking for the other weak, malfunction young men out there that are saying, hold on. So you're speaking for the other weak, malfunction. And I'll tell you something about society.
You can call it that.
You can be created. Listen, let me tell you, when we're all created, male, female, whatever, right? Yes, there are some that malfunction, even in the creation. And I think that's where mental
Are you blaming God for that now?
I mean, are you bringing in the creator into this?
Yeah,
because I'll also tell you that some people in some societies don't believe that exists.
Okay, so wait, guys.
I'm not. See, listen, I'm not fighting over that, right? So you're saying there's a malfunction. You're clearly saying mental illness is based on your gender.
I'm saying because we made
You're
this
saying
we
that
made this
men-
conversation about men, right? And I think that's what it is. We
Okay.
made this conversation about men.
Okay. So you know what? Let's pivot because you've established your positions. I want to pivot to a point to talk about mental health issues from somebody who accepts that they have had it, right? So
No, he said we know, like
no, as in- no,
he knows more than
so,
us.
yeah, so let's
Okay.
as us. Earlier on, Dotun, you alluded to challenges, and without going into any of the personal details, what I want to know is how it started as far as the internal walls. What sent you down? I guess that spiral, and how you came out of it. Because I mean, I've known you for like 4 or 5 years, so we play football, we've done things together, and I remember once we had a conversation well on the first season, and you basically had said that you actually developed the energy god persona to deal with your issues.
Yeah.
And then after that, you then had some other issues. So you have a stop-start relationship with mental health. And if so, how do you
You
deal
know,
with it?
the,
What
the
triggers
thing
it?
is,
Sorry, Doctor.
that was my
No,
question.
sorry, please. I understand, and I said sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me. I want to tell you something. I've known Dotto for quite a long time, right?
Mhm.
Dotto does not have mental issue. I don't like the fact that he wants to be. Listen, hold up. I want to say something.
This is crazy.
Hold up. I want to say something.
I never said I had.
I just want to say something.
But I
right?
never said
Hold
I
up.
had.
I just want to say something, right?
But can you say it quickly?
Hold on. We all go through personal issues in life.
Yes.
Right? I have mine.
Dr. Pretty Mike.
You have yours. Everybody has theirs. But I want people to stop using those things as excuses to label it as a
Okay.
mental issue or to say that it does exist in them. For me, I just think that word mental issue is too deep to use your personal issues, whether it's at work or your relationship or business, to say it exists for you.
Okay, that's fine. But as an
Thank you very
individual, he has chosen to apply that to himself. So I think in that regard, as a man, he should allow a fellow man to tell his story.
Sure.
You see,
And-
the thing is,
and-
I
and
can't
as
even
he
really
says,
say that. I mean, based on what he's saying, which is a lot of gibberish. Sorry, no disrespect.
True.
I feel like at the end of the day, everybody have their own triggers.
Mhm.
I mean, there are ways I align my life, and I wanted to have my direction and how I plan my life, my future. Like they say, man proposes, God disposes.
Sure.
You know, we're different. Some might not believe in God. I do.
Mhm.
And I also understand at the end of the day, there are ways you've exchanged, you know, aside the fact that you exchange value in life, there are also ways that I know that I've been able to speak to my creator on how I choose to live my life. So ordinarily, if things change or something moves away from what it should be, it would affect you as a person, especially when I know it involves my children or involves a life that I feel like, you know, is stable. Or because, I mean, for me, I believe in family.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not living in that space, and that's not my reality as we speak. That's enough to affect anybody.
Mhm.
Now, with me, I'm not the type that comes out and shows weakness. I'm just a guy that comes out and express myself as I should. I don't believe in the notion that, oh, men don't express themselves. You have to at a certain point. And I realized that when I came out, because I'm using my voice, my platform to express myself to a certain level, because that's my own type of let out. It might not, and in that case, it was not even a let out. It was a thing that I also needed help. When I got to a point, it was my breaking point. I felt, you know, how do I get there? Because it involves people that I love the most in my life. You're not going to tell me to toughen up based on that. I would say this. Showing weakness does not mean you have mental illness.
Thank you.
Listen. But also, like I said, you can't ascertain that because you don't know what the person is going through to show that level of weakness.
Which leads me to my next question
Yeah.
again, because it's your story. How and where did you find the assistance or the safe spaces you need? Because you've come through it a bit,
Yeah.
since then. But I think people will want to know again, without all the details, how did you Was there a rock bottom for you, and then did you reach out to people?
Absolutely.
And then other things that you do to keep you going forward?
So first of all, is number one is acceptance. Acceptance in the sense that I think I accepted the fact that, oh, this has happened. Because there was a part in my life that I felt like, no, this would never have happened.
Yes.
But first of all, was acceptance. Two is, I'm not going to lie to you, I invested more in the relationships that I started with, which means your best of friends who understands and know you. And as a matter of fact, my family, because they're the ones who will never judge you. A lot of people have different, for the first time I let people have a perception of what he felt it happened or what should happen, which on the other hand, that's also the trigger. Because now when you see things peddled around about you, that that's not what you are. And all these things are all cooked up. That's another trigger. But me, how I handle it is first, I'll tell you, everybody needs therapy. As a matter of fact, right? Even pretty much that he's speaking here, it might be what he's doing where he goes to parties and his chair tricks that's his craft. He might be covering something up that he doesn't want everybody to see. I'm not going to go into that, but like I said, what I'm saying is sometimes we all come out happy. We all use our jobs as our channel.
The tears of the clown.
Absolutely, but we'll go back in our closets and we'll feel. Listen, men are allowed to feel. Men are allowed to be expressive. Men are allowed to understand themselves. And men are also allowed to sometimes, make mistakes. The only problem that is everybody sometimes we need to always find a way to find a balance. So for me personally, it's something that I would tell you that I had to go through, but clearly at some point, even I had to do therapy because some decisions you make, once they're not the right way, they're irrational or either way, however we choose to see it, because everything I did, it was normal.
Excuse me.
No, hold on a second. Everything I no, hold on.
He's almost done.
No, you
I-
can
I-
get test of all I can, bro.
and I think he needs to hurry up.
Let me,
Yes,
Please,
because I
please.
let you speak and I let you. The thing is,
Yeah, but
I've never been
you
on.
outspoken yourself,
No, bro. You let me finish.
and you just run around
You
circles.
should let me finish, bro. You should let me finish.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I don't want nobody to punch me.
No, I'm not gonna punch you. Why should I do that? You're my guy. And that's what makes us even a lot different.
Of course,
They
of
feel
course.
that men don't fight. We supposed to fight once in a while, and we need to put ourselves in check too.
Sure.
The only good thing is we shake hands after the show, and that's what makes us different.
Of course.
Right? Now the thing is, handling it differs, and this type of strength that you have might be different from his, different from mine. Mine is there are two things you don't touch, and that affected me. Is my name and my kids. And if I go out and use that, what you call weakness, or I have to cry and go out and it's enough for me. It's my own way of handling things. But I will tell you straight up, you have no professional obligation. You can't ascertain someone with a mental illness. You probably don't even understand what mental health is. And I feel like you're on the show I think you are also a trigger to a lot of men going through mental. No, so let me hit the nail on the head. What he's saying can trigger a lot of people. You don't say that people they're not toughen up on a man that commits suicide. I'm not going to agree. I don't have to agree with you.
It's irresponsible.
It's enough for you. Yeah. You shouldn't say that. So, I mean, you can kick it from here. I think that's the best I can say.
I think this show is it's a good show. I love it. I love the topic. But I want to say something that he said that is totally not about the show.
Okay.
Which is?
Everything he said, I agree with it. But you know what? He couldn't just hit it on the nail. You know why? Oh, men are supposed to feel weak. Men are supposed to be sad and supposed to be depressed. And you don't mess with maybe my personal relationship, my family, yes. Understandable.
Okay.
Now, is that a definition of mental illness? In everything he said, and you kept trying to maybe push him to hold
I
on,
never,
hold on,
I
like, you
never
know,
said
let me
anything
speak.
about mental.
Hold on, no. And you kept trying to push him to maybe accept that he has
No,
mental issues.
You
But you know
only
what?
asked me
Hold
a
on.
question.
You kept trying to push him to see if he would even accept it. No. He has personal issues that he has gone through, just like I do. We all do have personal issues. Whether it makes you sad, whether it makes you depressed, whether it makes you feel a certain type of way. Now, does that mean you have mental issues? No. And that's the problem. That's why I'm trying to separate. I'm trying to separate us using our personal issues, or like you said, a loved one dies or something like that, and you're sad, and then automatically when people come at you and say, oh, why are you sad, or why are you or why are you lonely, or why have you not come out in a couple of days, I have mental issues. That word is so loosely used recently in our society. So hold on, let me go back to my friend that you just try to ask a question about. Oh, recently he had some issues.
Yeah,
But hold on, okay, sorry. But there were never mental issues. Did he go through something? Yeah, he went through something.
nobody
Just
said-
hold on.
You were the one that-
Because I don't know why.
No.
I don't know why you use that as an example.
Pretty Mike.
Hold on.
You
Sorry,
were the
please.
one
Please,
that
can I land
Can we have some decorum?
without you interrupting me like a female, please?
Oh wow. Wow.
Okay.
You had your time. I'm having mine. Once you start interrupting,
Listen, guys.
you are bringing out your female gender, or you're trying. This is not going to be a cat fight.
You know the funny thing is,
Okay, I will speak,
listen,
and you will speak,
Okay,
because
good.
that's how
But you-
the show is all about.
No, listen, Ikhane, I don't see. The thing is, he made some statements that I feel like it kind of. I don't want to be on the show anymore. I think he's very disrespectful. What he said is decaying and irresponsible, right? I think this is where I draw my line. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm sure you're short of words, but I'm not. I'm never short of words. Let me tell you something. Let's assume I said some things.
Let's not
Don't interrupt me. At the same time, it's your show, but you can still walk out. I'm not going to leave the set. Okay? So
Okay.
let me speak.
Okay.
Yes, let's agree. I said some things maybe that was disrespectful, or that was not aligning with what you feel or what you think. Right? It's fine. It's for you to sit, have that conversation. As long as, like I said, it's not a fighting me and you throwing fist.
Conversation is 2 ways.
Like I said, but he spoke.
You
listened.
interrupted. But you did.
Even when I tried to.
No, you didn't try. You
No.
interrupted.
Even when I
Fine.
waited.
Okay.
Even when I tried to, because of course I have things I want to say, and he was just going beating around the bush, saying nothing, almost going around circles. But even at that, I think we're in a society where you can speak freely, listen to me. If you don't agree with my points, that's fine. You go home and say, you know what, I don't agree with this. Some of the things he said, I don't agree with it. Okay, and you know what? To me, that clearly shows that he can't handle a tough conversation. Like I said, I'm not saying that everything I said is 100 of 100. I'm not perfect, but I mean, at the end of the day, we shouldn't just turn into a tantrum fight. It's becoming like I felt like this was about to become a cat fight, and I'm not in that space.
Okay. And on that note, we close. Thank you for giving us your very, very unique perspective on male mental health. I have a lot to think about, and I think everyone watching this has a lot to think about. Okay.
Hey, what's good? I'm Do2dtun, hype man, broadcaster extraordinaire, social commentator.
Yo, it's Pretty Mike of Lagos. If you know, you know. A businessman extraordinary in the hospitality business.
And I am in the company of men.